You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4. We begin this Thursday afternoon with breaking news. The man accused of killing a woman at a Lake Delton home on the 4th of July has pleaded not guilty.
Prosecutors allege 23-year-old Brandon Bent killed a woman at a home on Canyon Road. The charges: first-degree intentional homicide and misdemeanor bail jumping, with charges that hold domestic abuse modifiers. Bent's bond was initially set at $1 million, and a request to modify that was rejected today. Governor Tony Evers is joining other governors to ask the Trump administration to extend the federal SNAP programs set to pause this Saturday due to the government shutdown.
Armand Rahman was at a food collection event at St. Vincent de Paul's food pantry today, and Armand is here now with more. If this program is paused on November 1st, Armand, how many people in our state would it impact?
Yeah, Susan and Brady, it's no small potatoes. 700,000 people in Wisconsin rely on Food Share, which is the program SNAP is distributed under in the state to feed themselves and their families. Governor Evers and others asked the Trump administration to use the U.S. Department of Agriculture to extend the SNAP program into November, but in a memo reportedly from the USDA, the Trump administration indicated it did not plan to do that. Democratic lawmakers at the St. Vincent de Paul food pantry today say they're really hoping for a lawsuit or that push to really push President Donald Trump to use the already allocated $6 billion in contingency funds to extend SNAP for another month. Because what they've heard from Speaker Robin Vos is that Wisconsin Republicans have no plan or desire right now to fund SNAP or any program paused due to the shutdown.
This program we can fix regardless of what happens, what happens with the shutdown, because we have the funds available. And by not doing it, we are intentionally making it so that poor and hungry kids don't get food, and families that need it the most don't get it.
I reached out to multiple Republican lawmakers today and have not heard back as of this broadcast. Over at St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry, they see about 3,000 households every month. Now, if Wisconsin wanted to extend Food Share for even a month, they'd have to fork out $114 million out of the state's rainy day fund, which would not be able to be reimbursed. Susan and Brady.
We will follow it closely, Armand. Thank you. A federal judge says the Trump administration must restore $1 billion in school mental health grants, including $8 million for Wisconsin. The funding was cut in April when federal officials claimed the programs conflicted with new education priorities. State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly called the new ruling a victory for students, saying the cuts were politically motivated. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul joined the lawsuit and says the decision protects vital services for kids.
Let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Blaze Keller is out on the patio with our Halloween trick-or-treat forecast. And did I hear this right? A possible rain-snow mix, Blaze?
That is correct. We are looking at the possibility of a rain-snow mix to end Halloween. I think that those showers are going to begin as we're beginning to wrap on up. Until then, we're looking at mostly cloudy conditions for when the trick-or-treaters are out getting all the candy. Upper 40s to low 50s. Mostly cloudy conditions will eventually settle into those mid to upper 30s to low 40s. So let's jump ahead future track to about 6:30 on Friday. We're beginning to see that rain chance move on in, and these rain showers are going to be light and very hit or miss. As temperatures drop overnight, and you may see it on future tracks, some pinks and some blues indicating some of that mixed precip falling, lasting through probably the mid to late morning hours on Saturday before we dry on out. So we are looking at that chance, but I think a lot of that holds off until after all the candy is collected. Right now it's 52 in Madison on our Edgewater Sky Cam. We are unfortunately tracking dry conditions to continue. We'll take a look at the latest drought conditions, and it's not showing good signs for the state of Wisconsin. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. On State Street, Madison police officers were flagged down by a person who was reporting a fight that happened at around 2 o'clock in the morning. It happened in the 400 block near Lisa Link Peace Park. Police say they saw two men fighting and separated them. After that, one of the men tried to go back to the fight and another grabbed an officer. Officers then pepper sprayed that man and arrested both for disorderly conduct and resisting.
The man accused of murdering a Canadian tourist who came to Wisconsin to golf is now going to trial. 35-year-old Louise Cruz Burgos appeared in court today facing charges in connection with the death of 32-year-old Mike Robinson from Ontario. Sheboygan Falls police say Cruz Burgos was negotiating with Robinson's group about a ride, and then there was an argument. Police say Cruz Burgos then shot Robinson. Cruz Burgos has been held on a $2 million bond and will officially hear his charges in court on November 17th.
The woman who killed her mother allegedly in Blue Mounds will spend the rest of her life in a mental health facility. Today, a judge ordered 31-year-old Sierra Schoonover to be committed to a state institution. Back in April, she killed her mother, Heather Schoonover, at their home on Smoky Mountain Trail. In court, prosecutors, the defense, and the judge all agreed Schoonover did not understand what she was doing when she committed the crime. Schoonover spoke during the hearing, expressing remorse for her actions.
A new inpatient rehab hospital is coming to Fitchburg, the second in the greater Madison area. UW Health, Unity Point Health Meriter, and Life Point Rehabilitation broke ground today on the new facility, which will be built at the southwest corner of Lacey Road and Highway 14. The rehab center will offer 40 new beds, including a 12-bed brain injury suite, to help patients transition from care in the hospital to being well enough to return home.
This new rehabilitation hospital will bring high-quality, patient-centered services closer to home for families in Fitchburg, the greater Madison area, and our surrounding counties. It's designed to be a place of healing, hope, and recovery.
The Fitchburg site was chosen intentionally. When the hospital opens next year, it'll be within a 10-mile radius of 70% of Dane County's population. Well, coming up on Live at 4, we have some delicious recipes to help you celebrate the last days of October, and it's with an old family favorite.
That's right. And then it's Friday Eve and Halloween Eve, which means Josh is in the 608 with everything you need to know about what's going on in the area.
And Halloween is, of course, right around the corner. Tomorrow, in fact, we have what to expect when the kids are out trick-or-treating in the first warn forecast.
And then the Packers are going vintage this weekend. Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells us about the new old helmets and their classic uniforms that are planned for Sunday.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
It's Thursday. That means the weekend is almost here, and we're working for the weekend in the 608.
We really love the weekends around here, don't we?
We really do. We start counting on Tuesday.
Well, Josh Spreiter is here with the weekend planner for you and your family.
It is Halloween weekend, and after all of that trick-or-treating Friday, there's a lot happening for the first days of November. Here are your 3 things to do this weekend in the 608. Saturdays on the square down to just 2 more this season. The Dane County Farmers Market on the square is winding down for the year. This producer-only market features vendors selling what they grow. So grab your family and friends and enjoy this Madison tradition while you still can in 2025. Later in November, the market moves indoors for the winter. The Midwest Vintage Flea is back at Madison's Garver Feed Mill this weekend. It's happening both Saturday and Sunday. The fall edition features more than 45 vendors offering thousands of one-of-a-kind finds, from rare classic pieces to Y2K favorites and timeless denim. Admission is just $5 on Saturday and free on Sunday. There are also some limited early bird entry tickets available Saturday from 10 to 11 for just $20. Finally, the 42nd annual Cambridge Art Craft Fair is happening Saturday. This is at Cambridge High School from 9 to 3. Artisans from across Wisconsin will be showcasing handmade jewelry, textile and fabric art, woodworking, specialty foods, and plenty of holiday decor. Organizers say it's the perfect place to kick off your holiday shopping, so don't miss out. For more happenings this weekend in the 608, just go to channel3000.com. Tomorrow, I'll have a special Halloween in the 608 segment. In the 608 for Live at 4, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Oh, I wonder what he'll dress up as.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, a lot going on this weekend, Blaze. How are things looking?
It is looking seasonal in terms of temperatures. In terms of sky conditions, maybe a little bit on the cloudier side, which some folks may not like, but that's just what is in the cards this year. We're looking at more cloud cover off towards the Mississippi River Valley tonight. A little less cloud cover, maybe more partly cloudy closer to Lake Michigan. As we wrap up Thursday and go into Friday, temperatures hanging out in those low to mid-30s, a little bit warmer underneath more of that cloud cover. Halloween and through most of the weekend, we are looking cloudy, but temperatures are going to slowly start to warm on up after a chillier Saturday. We have a low pressure system still making its way out of Canada right now, and as it moves its way into parts of Wisconsin, it is going to fall apart. Its energy is going to be dispersed elsewhere. And in doing that, it's going to lose a lot of its energy, but it will still possibly bring a few showers as we go further into your Halloween evening. So we're at 11 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, we're not trick-or-treating then, but most of that shower activity is off into Minnesota and into northern parts of Wisconsin. As we fast forward into early Saturday morning, we start to get more of that rain further south. Some of those rain showers could turn over to a few snowflakes as temperatures dip to around freezing. But as we look ahead to later Saturday, we're starting to move in a high pressure system that's going to kick out the cloud cover as well as kick out the rain. However, we're going to be sandwiched in between this high pressure system and a very strong low that will remain in Canada. That means all these southwesterly winds are going to be breezy. That's going to warm us up into next Monday and further into Tuesday. But expect the cloud cover to stick around through at least Sunday. We will see some sunshine here and there on Sunday as opposed to Saturday. What we don't see in really the next 7 to 10 days is rain. Through the Halloween, through the 6th, we're looking at a couple hundredths of an inch of rain at best. And this is following a dry September and a very lackluster October, to put it quite frankly, which is why now 70% of Wisconsin is underneath abnormally dry conditions, 13% of the state underneath moderate drought conditions, and only about 0.5% of the state, limited to parts of Greene County as well as Lafayette counties, underneath severe drought conditions. Any rain that we see over the next 7 to 10 days, is not going to fix the drought by any means. But the more rain we can get into the ground before it freezes, the less we're going to have to rely on the upcoming snow to set us up for a really good growing season next year. The reason is because high pressure systems look to set up right there over the next couple of weeks and keep all the rain away from parts of Wisconsin. Remember, we fall back an hour as we go Saturday into Sunday, and that takes us just a little bit longer to get to those mid-50s arriving next week.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Well, the Packers are 5-1-1 heading into Sunday's game against the 4-4 Carolina Panthers.
The green and gold are at home with some new old-looking uniforms. Senior Packers writer Jason Wilde shows us the vintage look from Lambeau.
The Packers are going to have a different look on Sunday when you watch them against the Carolina Panthers here at Lambeau Field. They'll be wearing their 1923 throwback uniforms, which are blue in color, and they have kind of a copper color for the names and numbers on them. On top of that, they're wearing helmets that are hand-painted to look like they are made of leather. And it's pretty convincing, and it has a few of the players, including Jordan Love, excited about the new look.
No, they're interesting. I think they're something different that it's a cool little opportunity to rock a different uniform. I think here we don't stray away too much from the green and gold. So to be wearing the navy blue and the brown, it's a little bit different, but let's do it.
Now, we saw the Packers in their winter white uniforms earlier this season against Washington and again against Pittsburgh last Sunday night. So they've tried out some different looks. We'll see if that has any impact on their performance because, you look good, you feel good, you play good. We'll have full coverage of that game on our website, channel3000.com, including all of our Packers coverage leading up to it. And make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. Those helmets are pretty cool. Also in Packers news, Micah Parsons is being recognized as the NFC's Defensive Player of the Month. Parsons racked up 4 sacks and 5 tackles for a loss over 3 games, and that includes a dominant 3-sack performance against Arizona. His efforts helped the Packers go undefeated this month, the only team to do so. This is Parsons' 2nd career Player of the Month and his 1st since becoming a Green Bay Packer.
Coming up on Live at 4, we learn about attempts to keep people on the food share and SNAP programs fed this month.
And Jones Dairy Farm is here in the studio with us today with some Oktoberfest recipes that you can try. It'll be great for any family gathering or party. That's when we come back.
The numbers on Wall Street today red across the board. The Dow is down 109, the Nasdaq lost 377, and the S&P 500 lost 68. Well, Oktoberfest has come and gone, but you can still celebrate. Doesn't matter when. Lisa Karras from Jones Dairy Farm is here to celebrate Oktoberfest with a true Wisconsin favorite. Okay, Braunschweiger.
Yes.
I did it?
You did it. Yes.
Okay.
So thanks for having us, Brady. This is so wonderful to be here. We love talking about Braunschweiger.
Yeah.
So Jones Dairy Farm is a 7th generation family-owned and operated company out of Fort Atkinson. And one of our favorite products to talk about is Braunschweiger. So we have come up with a couple recipes to keep people in the Oktoberfest tradition. So I'd love to talk about those recipes with you.
Yeah, and before we get to those, I want, this is a staple for so many families. And it's not just something you eat, it has ties to family, your family's story. That's very important.
Absolutely. So Braunschweiger is a product that brings up a lot of nostalgic memories. So whether you had it growing up with your grandparents or you had it as a kid, it brings up a lot of those feelings. And I think a lot of people forget about this product over time. So I'm here to really bring that product back to life and talk about how we can use it and expose it to the next generation.
Yeah, you have some kind of new and fun ways to bring it into the now. So what recipes do we have?
Yes, so this first one is super easy. It only has two ingredients. So this is our dip. So what we have here is the Braunschweiger chub, and we are mixing it with either a cream cheese, ricotta, or a mascarpone. You just want a soft cheese, and you just whip it together with a hand mixer or a KitchenAid, and that's it.
Easy peasy.
So super easy.
Okay.
You can have it with crackers, crudité, or vegetables, and it's a great way to just sort of get exposed to Braunschweiger, and you can serve it at parties. It's an appetizer, so it's really easy, and people love it.
Yeah, so it's just kind of you get to creep in before you go to the hard stuff here.
Yes, yes. And what I love about this dip is it brings protein to the appetizer. So a lot of dips don't have a lot of protein. So Braunschweiger has some really amazing health benefits. So it's high in protein, it has riboflavin, vitamin A, and it's a great source of iron too.
Yeah, keto friendly too if you're doing the veggies.
Yes.
And so now we have something that's perfect for any weekend, any game day, some sliders, right?
Yes, yes. And so to continue with Oktoberfest, we have a pretzel bun slider that has a beer mustard with it. We know that Braunschweiger is great with onions, mustard, and so we're just gonna assemble that. It's so easy, so we'll do that. And we have our Jones Dairy Farm Braunschweiger sliced, and it's super convenient. It's already sliced, perfect for sandwiches. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna have you take the top part off.
Take this off.
Yep, so we just have Hawaiian buns here. They're pretzel buns.
My hands are washed, by the way.
Ditto, yes. And so this Braunschweiger is already sliced, and so you're just gonna layer it on top. You'll notice that it does have this little rind that you do not want to eat.
Okay, so that comes off really easily.
Yep. Yeah. So that's just we use that when we make the product. So, so what we're going to do is just put about 4 slices around.
Okay, and do you cook it then?
It's already cooked, so it's a fully cooked product. So you can eat it right out of the package. Braunschweiger is great for sandwiches, great for a snack. So super easy. So it's already cooked, and then what we're gonna do is take some onions.
Yeah, and these are very potent onions. I tried smelling them and I almost fainted.
We are gonna put it just on half because not all of us like onions.
I have some weird rules about onions, so.
Okay, and then we're gonna put a little bit of this beer mustard, which is a nice little way to top it off.
And this is something that you can do, like we were talking about, this comes from family, so you can do this with your kids and get maybe grandma, grandpa in on it too.
Definitely. And so it's a great game day appetizer, and then you just slice it. So easy. And you can top these sliders with pickles. You could do a different type of mustard, Dijon, doesn't have to be a beer mustard. So, and we have lots of recipes using Braunschweiger on our recipe or on our website. So you can check out jonesdairyfarm.com for more ways to use Braunschweiger.
Well, Lisa, thank you for being on with us. And these recipes are sure to please everyone. So there you go. There they are on screen. If you want to see those, you can also find them on channel3000.com. I've never tried it. I'm going to try this little dip. Let's see. Okay, pretty good. I'm on board. All right, we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4 on this Thanksgiving Eve. Nice day out there today.
It is, yeah, and it's a perfect day to be inside too and have some Braunschweiger for a little recipe.
What'd you think? Did you like it?
It was pretty tasty. I liked it. Yeah.
That was a fun segment. Let's take a look outside today. Look at this view.
That's pretty.
I'd like a blown-up picture of this to hang in my living room. That is the view of the Capitol from Olin Park. The weather words for today: a light wintry mix to end Halloween. Uh-oh, that's the first wintry word so far this year.
Brace yourselves, everyone.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, and maybe as we end Halloween going into the start of November, we may get a few little snowflakes out there. But until then, we're going to continue to remain fall-like. Let's take a look at what we can expect for Halloween. Mostly cloudy conditions, topping out in the upper 40s to low 50s. That should be the temperatures that we experience as we are trick-or-treating. Eventually, though, we settle into those mid to upper 30s. Mostly cloudy with that chance for light rain, really picking up towards the end of trick-or-treat time. Maybe 8, 9, possibly beginning as early as 7. But Future Track is showing not a lot of us are underneath that green, especially further south. It's only until we go into early Saturday through at least the late morning hours that we start to see more of that green across southern parts of Wisconsin, mixing in with some purples and some blues. Those could be a little bit of some snowflakes falling here and there. We're not expecting much in the way of rain or snow accumulations Friday night into Saturday. In the meantime, no snow tonight. Temperatures hanging out right now in the 50s all across central and southern Wisconsin. Into Dane County, we're all pretty much right around 51 or 52 degrees. Mid-50s and even maybe a few 60s pop up in the extended forecast. We'll take a look at our temperature trends expected over the next couple of days in the full forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul and more than 20 other states are suing the federal government over a plan to halt SNAP funding starting Saturday. The states argue the federal government is legally required to continue distributing food assistance even during a government shutdown, and that ending payments would violate existing law.
We are facing dramatic impacts on SNAP beneficiaries, not because the federal government is facing an economic catastrophe, but because of the failure of leadership. And so the quicker that leaders come together and can ensure that there is funding provided and reopen the government, the less harm there's going to be to Wisconsinites and the American people.
Kaul says this is the first time the federal government has moved to stop SNAP benefits during a shutdown. A judge has not yet ruled on the state's request to temporarily block the funding freeze. And while it looks more and more likely a deal will not be reached anytime soon for the government shutdown, local restaurants are extending a hand to those who would otherwise go without. Ollie's Restaurant in Madison is offering a pay-what-you-can for meals for lunch and dinner on Tuesdays through Thursdays for as long as they can. Baked Wings and Things in Madison will be giving out 50 free lunches every day at noon until SNAP is reinstated. For a full list of resources, head to basicneeds.students.wisc.edu and click on food resources. They'll have a full map of different organizations and restaurants offering a hand.
Girl Scouts and business leaders from around the area got together today at Madison's Edgewater Hotel. The Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Badgerland hosted their first Leading with Legacy luncheon. This year's theme highlighted keynote speaker Jen Holleran's research, The State of the Wisconsin Girl Report. The report focuses on how stressors like mental health affect a girl's experiences.
Being a Girl Scout means I not only have the opportunity to learn how to be a leader and to lead others, but also to feel empowered to do new things.
Girl Scouts of America is known for giving girls an outlet to learn and explore new things while also giving them resources to protect their well-being. Well, since 1974, less than 500,000 people have solved a Rubik's Cube. 1 in 10 of them are women. We want to introduce you to a brother and sister who are breaking barriers when it comes to solving that plastic puzzle. 6-year-old Arna was the youngest competitor in the Wisconsin Speed Cubing Championship. She was taught by her 10-year-old brother Arish during summer break. He tells us how he taught his sister this challenging skill.
I taught her like the different algorithms, and I taught her how to make the decisions, like which way should we move this piece to get closer to solving it, like that.
I like about cubing.
Arush, can you teach us, please?
Yeah.
He says he wants to start a cubing club at his school and build a community of Madison cubers, especially focusing on encouraging more girls into STEM fields through cubing and gaming.
I love that.
I do too.
When my sister was little, my parents thought she solved one. It turns out she just took the stickers off, and so.
Brilliant move by your sister.
Next on Live at 4, we are a year out from Wisconsin's election for governor, among many other races.
We're talking with the director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, about some changing sentiments and expected opinions about the governor's race in the latest poll. That's when we come back.
And tomorrow's Halloween costumes will almost likely have to have a coat added into the mix. Blaze shows us the trick-or-treat forecast.
Plus, it's more than a song to family members who are recovering the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald 50 years later. Well, we're taking a live look today. This is a beautiful place, Annapolis, Maryland, home of the U.S. Naval Academy. This is the town dock. Beautiful day in Annapolis, 65 degrees and mostly sunny. A few cars, though, are flooded out there. They had some flooding around noon that actually closed some downtown businesses. They're getting ready for a new dock project in Annapolis.
That is very idyllic.
Yeah.
Well, the latest Marquette Law School poll offers a fresh snapshot of where Wisconsin voters stand just a year out from the 2026 election.
The results show some shifting opinions on major issues, the economy to the White House to local priorities. Charles Franklin is the director of the Marquette Law School poll. Hi, Charles. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Good to have you
Thank
back.
you.
So this is a really interesting poll. The election is a year away. The primary is in August, and then the general election is in November. And it shows that a vast majority of voters really have no idea who the candidates are that are running for some of the major races. What did you find?
Yeah, it's important to say how early it is. It's not really surprising that they don't know. And these are all non-incumbent candidates, so they haven't gotten into the public's mind. We found only 6% said they had heard a lot about the governor's race. The best known candidate was Tom Tiffany, the congressman from the 7th District. At 39% recognized his name. And then we had 3 Democrats in the 20s, Milwaukee County Executive Crowley, Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez, and Madison Representative Hong, all in the 20s. All the other candidates, all 6 of the other candidates, were in the low to mid-teens.
Yeah, and like you said, it's still very early. We have a lot of time left. How do these findings reflect how voters here feel about things like things going on in the state, things going on nationally?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time asking about what issues concern voters the most, and number one is inflation, and you see it in people saying that's their most important problem, but you also see it in 76% think the price of groceries has gone up in the last 6 months. 55% think President Trump's policies will increase inflation. And a very high percentage think Wisconsin farmers are suffering because of the tariffs. So those economic factors running from sort of the national economy all the way down to farmers here in the state all represent economic concerns.
Were you able to ask in this poll about the current government shutdown?
We did. We asked who's to blame for the shutdown.
Oh, interesting.
And it's pretty close to a third. About a third blamed the Democrats. A little bit more, about 5 or 8% more, blame the Republicans, and then about a third say they're both to blame. But when you look at it by party, Republicans overwhelmingly blame the Democrats, and just 2% say their party is a problem. Among Democrats, it's 80-something% blame the Republicans, and literally 0% of Democrats blame their own party. But independents at 64% say both are to blame.
Yeah, well, Wisconsin being a swing state, well, do you think that'll have any effect on next year?
Well, I think we're only going to have the governor's race plus a host of other races, but we don't have a Senate race and obviously not a presidential race. I think one of the things we're seeing is that despite it being a midterm election, we're seeing a fair amount of people saying they're sure that they're going to vote in the April election for the Supreme Court. And a little bit of a Democratic advantage on that, about a 5-point advantage in Democrats saying they're certain to vote compared to Republicans, and independents quite a ways back at just over half saying they'll vote. So that'll certainly play a role going into next fall's election, where so much matters for turnout these days as opposed to persuading people to come over to your side.
All the issues that you outlined before, does everything still tend to fall along party lines?
Very strongly on most issues, and anything you ask that's remotely related to President Trump is deeply polarizing. But we found some exceptions. A big majority, about 75% or so, say that they support the photo ID requirement to vote, which has been around for a while. They also support same-day registration for voting. But a new issue, about that same 75% say you should have to provide proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. So that means you need to find your birth certificate or your passport, or like me, I had to write to the state of Pennsylvania and ask them to send me a birth certificate for $60. But I now have a birth certificate.
You're all set. We have just a little bit of time. Do you think that candidates could look at this poll and take any long-term strategy with them?
I think the issues are setting the stage for what the governor's race in particular would be about, because you have these national policy issues that involve Congress, and if Congressman Tiffany is one of those candidates, no doubt his involvement in Congress will be part of that, and it gives Democrats something to complain about and attack. On the other hand, the Democrats have their own problems. The party itself is substantially less favorable than views of the Republican Party right now. And President Trump's job approval is at 47%, 53% disapprove, but that's a bit better than the national average of about 41% approval for him. So his support in the state has remained really pretty steady through these, how many months? 9 months, 10 months of his second term.
Very good. Thank you for being on with us, Charles.
Good to see you, Charles. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Coming up on Live at 4, another look at the forecast for Halloween, how many layers you're going to need over your costume tomorrow night.
And it's been 50 years since the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. We'll hear how one Wisconsin community is remembering those who were lost.
Passing clouds tonight, temperatures dipping into the 30s. Most of us staying partly cloudy closer to the Mississippi River. Will be a little bit more cloudy, and those clouds stick around into Halloween, further into Saturday. Starting to break up by Sunday, we see more sunshine starting on Monday of next week. Halloween, we're looking at the upper 40s to low 50s, right around where we should be for this time of year. A little bit cooler further to the north and west, because we're going to be underneath that cloud cover for a little bit longer than, say, folks further to the south and east. But as we're all trick-or-treating, likely temperatures are going to be in those upper 40s to low 50s. We don't really see the rain chances move in until further into Friday evening, and that's when some of that rain could turn over to a light rain-snow mix as temperatures eventually settle into those mid to upper 30s overnight Friday into Saturday. Now Saturday, we're only going to be hanging out in those upper 40s, a little bit warmer on Sunday by a couple of degrees, but southwesterly winds on Sunday bump our temperatures back up to near 60 by Wednesday of next week. We're going to be sandwiched between a high pressure system to our south and a strong low pressure system up in Canada. Expect a breezy Sunday, but those breezy southwesterly winds allow our temperatures to get above normal starting Monday through at least Wednesday of next week. That's likely looking to be the warmest over the next 7 to 10 days. But overall, we're continuing to trend more or less seasonal over the next 7 to 10 days. And that warmer than normal trend looks to continue even beyond our extended forecast into nearly the middle of November. Again, this could just be by a couple of degrees, 1 degree, even a half a degree. As long as it's warmer than average, we're looking at that trend to continue with the confidence level anywhere between, I would say, 70 to 80% from the 7th through the 13th. Again, a lot of high pressure systems are going to be sitting somewhere across southern parts of the Mississippi River Valley. Those southerly winds are really going to pump up a lot of that desert heat back up to places across the plains, stretching from North Dakota and Montana all the way south into the Texas Panhandle. And that's the reason why we're also going to stay probably drier than average over the next, I would say, week to week and a half as well. So drier than average and warmer than average seems to be the trend here over the next 7 to 10 days. We're back into the mid-50s starting Monday after a cooler and somewhat cloudy weekend.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
In response to the 50th forthcoming anniversary of the sinking of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, a permanent memorial has been built on the waterfront in Washburn, Wisconsin.
The vessel sank in Lake Superior on November 10th, 1975, claiming the lives of all 29 crew members. Kyrie Johnson has a story of how volunteers came together to honor the memory of those 29 lost.
The community rallied in record time to get the project installed today, with dozens of people donating their own money and services to finish the memorial. The bottom tower is a refurbished piece of Ashland ore dock, and the top is sheet metal, fabricated to work as a weather vane.
So there's not a single piece of this memorial that isn't made locally or has some historical significance to our area.
And while the Fitzgerald and its sailors have always been a part of this small town's history, it's never gotten to this level of dedication.
I think it's long overdue. Like, it's been 50 years and there's almost nothing on the South Shore.
Inspiration came from loved ones of sailors who lost their lives on the Fitzgerald. For years, they have lived with just the memory of the iconic ship, never able to visit the watery grave at the bottom of Lake Superior.
But every year for us is hard. And it's been a little bit harder because we didn't have any place to go.
And with the memorial now standing as a beacon for those families, people like Matt Tetzner, who spent countless hours on this project, say the only payment he requires is making sure people never forget what happened.
I think it means more to some than others, but all in all, it still makes kids ask questions, what it is, what happened. You don't forget then.
The SS Edmund Fitzgerald remains the largest ship ever lost on the Great Lakes, resting about 530 feet below the surface of Lake Superior near Whitefish Point.
That looks like an impressive memorial.
Yeah. And I like what that guy said about the only payment he wants is people never forget. That's really touching.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, if you want to head up there this weekend, it is going to be a little bit on the cloudier side, but it is going to be very fall-like, and obviously the trees may still have a little bit of color up there across northern Wisconsin. As for Halloween, which is right before the weekend, we're looking at upper 40s to low 50s, mostly cloudy, and maybe some light rain snow mix beginning by the evening and continuing into the early morning hours on Saturday. A bit breezy on Sunday if you're heading up to Lambeau. Remember, we get an extra hour of sleep Saturday night before the 50s and sunnier conditions return for next week.
All right, Blaze, thank you. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow on Live at 4, we introduce you to our newest sports reporter, Kay Racine. She tells us about her passion and how it brought her here and how she's excited to get started covering Wisconsin sports. And later on News 3 Now at 5, Arman Rahman tells us more about what legislators are doing to prevent disaster as the state's food share program is set to run out on Saturday. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.